Okay, so here we are at simplifying expressions on part 2. So now we're going to go ahead and look at using the distributive property while we're going ahead and simplifying our expressions. We always want to look inside our set of parentheses, make sure that the terms are not like before we use the distributive property. It's easier to use order of operations if we can, but if we can't, we can go ahead and use the distributive property. So if I look inside the first one here, even though they both have 5s, 5 and 5x are not like terms. Okay, so you go ahead and multiply the 3 times the 5. That'll give me 15. Plus 3 times 5x. So that's 3 times 5, which is 15, and then x. Last part stays the same, minus 15. Now I notice here that if I go ahead and look at the front and look at the back, I have opposites. I have a plus 15 and a minus 15, which are equal to 0. And so my answer is just 15x. Okay. Looking ahead at the second one, I have a distribution of just the minus sign. Remember, when I have just the minus sign, I can think of it as a -1 being distributed through. So I have a -1 times a positive 3y, which will give me a minus 3y. And a -1 times a -2 is going to give me a positive 2. I can drop the parentheses once I'm done, and I go ahead and just add my other pieces back in where they belong. Here my like terms are next to each other, so I have 6y minus 3y. That will give me a 3y. 6 is bigger than 3, so it stays positive. And 2 plus 3 here, which is plus 5, and then I'm done. Looking at something that's a little longer, here we have 2 sets of parentheses. And so we're going to have to do 2 separate sets of distribution. So I'm going to take the negative with my 4 as I distribute this. It makes my life easier. And I have a -4 times an x, which is a -4x. And a -4 times a -3, I'm going to take this as a -3. Negative and a negative give me a positive. 4 times 3 will give me 12. This plus is going to stay. Plus doesn't change the signs of anything coming after it. And I have 2 times 4x, which will give me 8x. And 2 times a plus 7, which will give me a plus 14. If I want to here, I can go ahead and utilize my associative or my commutative property and move my 8x to the front. So I can have 8x here minus 4x plus 12 plus 14. 8 minus 4 is a positive 4x plus 12 plus 4 is 26. Again, we're going to go ahead with the second one, my parentheses. I have an x term and a constant term. They're not like terms. I'm going to go ahead and distribute. So I have 6 times 5, which is 30x. 6 times a minus 3 is a minus 18. And then the minus 13x stays where it's at. Combining my like terms, I have a 30 and a 13. So remember, don't forget your borrowing and all that stuff. And I end up with a 17x minus 18. Got a couple more for you here. So here we're distributing a negative again, thinking of that as a -1. So it just changes all your signs on the inside. So if you want a kind of a quick way to do the distribution, a negative on the outside with no coefficient or number just changes the signs of everything that's in the parentheses it's being distributed to. So this is going to give me -y minus 6. The plus 3y plus 12 doesn't change. I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms. Okay. So I have a -y and a 3y. That's going to go ahead and give me a 2y. Minus 6 plus 12 is a plus 6. All right. I already went ahead and distributed the last one here, so I distributed the 7y through. went ahead and got this value. And then again, I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms. This time my like terms are all the way on either side of the equation, but they're both positive. So I have a 7 plus a imaginary 1. We have here, which would be 8y. And 14 minus 18 will give me a negative 4. So hope a few more examples helped out. I'll see you in the next video.